We're jumping into our discussion segment right about now, and I have my co-host with me. Hafiz has joined us, and I still have my Miaba with me over here. So tomorrow happens to be the World Radio Day. And yes, we'll be looking at that today because we're not here with you tomorrow, like I mentioned. And we also wouldn't want you guys to miss anything that we've got for you. So we'll be jumping right into it. Now, this is celebrated every year on the 13th of February. And it's interesting. But I mean, I'm not gonna do much of the talking today. So let me start with Hafiz, who we already have here.
Hmm. Happy, thank you very much. We are talking radio.
Yes, we're talking radio.
Anyway, radio. I mean, it's one of those medium of communication that has managed to outlive or has managed to stay relevant with the changing times, and you can largely attribute it to its dynamism and engaging content over the years. I mean, this medium is so popular that it has survived the eras of the boom boxes. We are talking about the ghetto blasters and the eras of the Walkman. I'm sure you had one, owned one of those.
No comment.
Really, you didn't?
No comment.
Wow. Anyway, so but I think it's a good thing that it's being recognized. And talking about UNESCO, that's pioneered this. I mean, according to UNESCO's GEM report, and by GEM I mean the Global Education Monitoring report, 75% of households in developing countries have access to radio, and we are talking some 44,000 radio stations globally. So, I mean, there's more obviously since this report was compiled, and so that is definitely testament to how popular this medium is. Now, if you take the conversation back to our base Ghana, you can trace it back to the days, the colonial days, under the British governor Arnold Hudson in 1935, and largely radio then was simply used to by the crown to instruct its subjects, and also it was one of the tools they used to spread propaganda. Now in Ghana, over the years, we've seen a lot more openness in that area, and we've seen a lot of private participation in this space, and this is largely due to the democratization of the airwaves. And more recently, we've seen this shift from analog to digital, that is, and the transmission. And so it is opened up this space. And just to give you a clear idea of how open this space is now, according to the National Communications Authority, uh, in the radio space, we have a 90% penetration rate. Yes, and that's according to a report compiled in 2018. And just to give you a breakdown, now here it goes: 31 public radio stations. That's at 2018 in Ghana. We've had 31 public radio stations, 5 foreign radio stations, 71 community radio stations, 22 campus radio stations, and 358 commercial radio stations. That says a lot about just how open our space is, encouraging, you know, the freedom of speech in this country anyway.
Wonderful. Mamiaba. Yeah. World Radio Day. Did you do there's this course I did in university which looked at why don't I remember? It's something communication. You did journalism too, right?
Com skills, com skills.
No, it's not com skills. Theories of communication? I don't remember.
Journalist. I have nothing to do with the conversation. Go on.
But there's this course I read in the university where we read extensively into radio, how radio has helped, how radio is helping people, especially in the rural areas, get access to information, because you know that not everybody in the rural areas most especially have access to a television set. And radio is the medium through which all these people can be able to listen to the news, listen to what's happening around the world. Yeah. And I think a day set aside to celebrate that is very important because radio reaches far more people than any other media on the continent. A radio set is easy to afford. And whereas some you need electricity to use, there are some you just need to buy batteries. Yeah. Tiger head. And somewhat. Those are the very famous
Was
ones I
that meant
used
to be
to
a
have.
dig or something?
Was what?
Was that meant to be a dig at those companies or something?
No, those are like
Oh
those are like
no!
the
Those are like the
popular.
battery companies that
You
we
mostly
know.
find in radios.
Okay.
Like I mean, tell your
Mm.
head somewhat.
Yes.
Yeah, so like as I was saying, despite the advent of the internet and social media,
Mm-hmm.
radio remains extremely popular on this continent, most especially.
Yeah.
And Hafiz has given us the stats.
Well, one thing for this year, thank you. One thing for this year is this is like the 10th anniversary as they're celebrating because the day was actually launched. It was started from the year 2011, so this is the 10th anniversary, and I mean there are a lot of events and things going on, and there's been more than 110 years of radio. So the theme for 2021, they've divided into three main sub themes, and it follows. First is evolution. The world changes, radio evolves. This sub theme is actually looking at the resilience of radio to its sustainability. The second is innovation. And then it says the world changes, radio adapts and innovates. So radio has had to adapt to new technologies to remain the go-to medium of mobility, accessible everywhere and to everyone. And then the final one is connection. The world changes, radio connects. So this sub team is highlighting the radio services to our society, the natural disasters, the socio-economic crisis, I mean the epidemics and the pandemics as well. Yeah, all of those things. So these are the three sub themes for this year 2021.
Interesting. I mean, speaking of social media,
Mm-hmm.
she mentioned social media in her submission, and I think with the introduction of social media,
Mm-hmm.
talking of uh, the Twitters, the Facebooks, and whatnot, you have millennials and Generation Zers constantly having their head buried in their devices,
Mm-hmm.
and scrolling through their timelines just to decide or to definitely find out what exactly is going on in the world. Now, you would think the social media would definitely affect radio, but interesting enough, radio seems to have adapted because these days you have almost all radio stations have websites and that are linked to their social media pages where they get to stream live programming and everything. So radio keeps adapting to the changes, and I think one of the areas where radio seems to hold a trump card over social media is the control of what comes out, especially fake news. When it comes to social media seems to be grappling with an epidemic in that department when it comes to fake news. And I mean, every now and then we've seen the top boys at Silicon Valley dragged to congressional hearings to defend what exactly they are doing, or to put out what exactly they are doing to stop this
Stop this
epidemic
thing, yeah.
of
Fake
fake news.
news.
Yes. So but then with radio, there's this meticulous process of gatekeeping that comes with it, and that helps in verifying information that is put out. And you can actually trace a radio station to find out where they are located, even if indeed they put out a false publication or not, and the necessary action taken. You can easily verify. That's what I mean. But unlike social media, where
It'll be
content,
difficult,
yes,
yeah.
is not verifiable. But then again, with radio, well, it's not all rainbow and sunshine with radios because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yes, as much as we have verifiable information, there's also the issue of the private participation, the sort of persons that get into that space and what exactly they are looking to promote. Yes, because we've seen governments or even private individuals get into that space and promote certain agenda that sort of doesn't align with the collective good of the society. So it's a mixed bag of good and bad anyway.
Well, yeah, I think the most important thing is focusing on the fact that the medium is able to get to people and people listen to it more often than not. Miss Maud?
Yeah.
I like
Miss
mixing her
Maud.
name.
Okay.
I mean, I talked about how radio is important, especially in the rural areas. What I forgot to add was radio is one of the easiest mediums to use
Mm-hmm.
in communication, in the sense that to watch TV, you'd have to put on your TV set, use a remote, search for a channel that you like, and then to scroll through social media,
Your
you
phone.
you have to your eyes have to be stuck on your phone screen. And with radio, all you have to do is just tune, and
Go
you can
do
be
what you're
doing
doing.
whatever,
Yeah.
and the radio will still be on.
Yeah, that's
So the
true.
radio is like one of the most greatest inventions man has ever made, because then you can be listening to something while cooking, while washing, while doing
Actually, yeah, people
whatever.
listen to it to sleep. They leave the radio on and then they sleep and wake up and the radio is still
Well,
on.
radio has actually earned the accolade of theater of the mind.
Yeah.
Tells you how powerful audio messages can
Be.
imprint certain images in your mind, even though you're not seeing
You're not seeing it, yes.
individuals anyway.
People
Just
sleep with the radio.
oh yeah,
on.
like just try putting it on and just lying on the bed,
It's
close
news
your
to
eyes and
her.
sleep. But I'm just surprised it's actually news to her. But people sleep with the radio on and they wake up, and with time, it's like something that is stuck in your subconsciousness. You can't go to bed without leaving the radio on.
Okay, I get easily distracted by noise.
Okay.
That is why I say, because radio is either music that's playing or is people talking. So me hearing people sleep with the radio, wow.
People sleep with the radio on. It's a part of them like that.
You've
My
been
my
living
little
under
brother
your-
sleeps with music on, and it's not like cool music.
Etal.
No, it's like he like music you can dance to. That's the
Boom,
music
boom.
he sleeps with.
Okay, I was about to ask how. I mean, how do you
It's like
sleep
you,
with such music?
yeah, and even me personally, listening to cool music, right?
Puts you to bed.
No, like I might while I start listening, it might drowse, or I might become drowsy for a little, but eventually I'd have to put it off to be able to sleep. So if radio is helping people sleep, then I mean it has moved out of the purpose that it was made for, and it is doing more, and that's great.
That is very great. Radio is actually doing a lot of things we don't understand. One thing, my grandmother always likes to, she's traveling everywhere. She can leave everything or anything, but one thing she never wants to leave is her radio.
It's a radio set.
Sometimes you're just wondering, what is it with a radio?
Exactly. I mean, when you talk about radio, you see, radio is a rich source of information, because look, and that's why when you find yourself on a radio platform, consider that a privilege. It's not. It's not like you are the brightest in the entire world or anything. But consider that a privilege to inform people and educate. And that's why you need to be responsible when you find yourself in a radio platform and disseminating information. But then, I mean, coming back to radio and what it's done for humanity and life in general. I mean, we've seen radio stations be an avenue for job creation, basically employed a lot of people to earn a decent living. We've seen it as a source to disseminate information. Governments have, I mean, it's basically that bridge that brings the government and the governed closer. Yes, humanizing some of these government institutions where they get to test policies, they get to, gauge certain reactions from the public when it comes to the policy directions and everything. So radio is a huge deal, and how it has managed to stay relevant is something that that needs studying. I mean, it's interesting how all over the years, I mean, radio has assumed one shape or the other. I mean, it's still one of the popular sources and very credible sources of news anyway.
Uh,
You beg to differ?
no, I agree with him 100% because growing up, right,
Uh-huh.
most of the songs I love these days, most of the songs I love now, like my music background was got off the radio. Because I'll come back from, I remember, I think primary JSS. I'll come back from school and then my mother's radio is on hits.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
I
just
don't know
song
if,
after
I,
song.
I don't know if any of you used to listen to Hits FM back in the days.
It's FM. I wouldn't know what that is.
Are you
I-
not?
I'm
are
not
you a
kidding.
No, okay,
radio
okay,
listener?
I'm not
let's just-
kidding.
You're not a radio listener.
No, he says he wouldn't know what that is. I mean, hits was where you were in Accra, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
Oh!
geographically worlds
That
apart.
didn't
So
register. Okay. So I'd come back from school and then my mom's radio would be on Hits FM and then they'll be playing music back to back to back. Old tunes, classic tunes. So my love for music started from the radio. And I mean,
Radio is great. And like I said, it's one of the greatest inventions man ever made. My dad loves his radio. My mom loves her radio because it is one of the easiest ways to get information.
I think it's also brought about change and development. I mean, we get to actually address a lot of social issues. One thing I like, especially, was with the local radio stations that actually get to speak in the
Local languages.
local languages of the people. So I don't necessarily need to listen and be thinking of how to translate or be beating around how do I understand. But they're speaking in your language and they address it. And there's a point where they actually start reading the newspapers in the local language. They found a way to actually bring information to the people. Let people understand that this is news, this is happening, so you need to be informed. Education or literacy was not necessarily a barrier for the people. So radio has actually been doing a lot in that area.
And I want to add, let's talk about the evolution of radio. It's like these days, first it was just news music. These days they put drama
Oh
shows.
yeah.
They put drama series on radio. I have heard about a couple of singing competitions.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard about so many different things that have been put on radio now, and I think that is great because singing competitions mostly are held on TV. Some people are camera shy, and so then if I have a passion to be in a music competition, and I'm camera shy, I'm obviously not going on TV.
Yeah.
But the music competitions are radio, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not standing in front of an audience. Even if there'll be an audience, it'll just be me and
Unlimited,
the
yeah.
fellow contestants and the producer and whoever is hosting the show in the studios.
Not a
So
huge crowd.
so I think that's great. And then coming to drama series, drama series are mostly shown on TV. You have to be glued to the set with your
To be
eyes
watching.
and then to pay attention. You have to pay attention. All your
It
attention have to
reminded
be
me of Mame
focused.
Dokono.
But
Why?
there's
No, it just reminded me of Mame Dokono.
Okay.
But then there's a radio drama series where you can still be doing anything you have to do and be watching. And I know recently they were talking about this eight. Okay, you know YOLO, right?
Yeah,
So they put
you.
YOLO on radio now. I don't know if it's still going, but I listened to it a couple of times and I think it's great.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And please, for those who do not know, YOLO is a TV series, a teen drama series, in collaboration with the Ghana AIDS something.
US aid. No, yeah, it was the Ghana AIDS.
Yeah.
You're basically looking at
Where
addressing.
they educate people, they create awareness on HIV/AIDS, how you can stay HIV/AIDS, teenage pregnancy, abstinence, drug use, a whole lot of different issues. And like I said,
Social
I think-
vices they actually expect the teens to stay away from.
yeah.
Yeah. Hafiz, any final words?
Final words. Like I mentioned, it being an employment avenue, but hopefully there will be more stringent vetting of personalities that we see on air. Now, every now and then, sometimes we record issues on radio and everything that doesn't exactly put the medium in a good light. So hopefully, I would see more stringent measures and in the sort of people that we see, mount the airwaves to disseminate information anyway.
Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me here. Don't forget, we would love to also hear from you. And Mamiaba has some more final words she wants to tell
Yeah.
us.
I wanted to add that it's not only is the day isn't only looking at radios like where radio stations are on. It includes radios that these policemen use, fire servicemen use, radios they use on
Those
missions, on
channel.
rescue missions,
Like
and
the
all of that.
walkie-talkies.
Yes, the walkie-talkies. All of
Yeah.
those are radios, and I think that also helps.
Yes,
Because
it's
the police
interesting.
is parked somewhere, something is happening somewhere. They
They're
send a
able to
message through the
speak,
radio,
yes, yeah.
then before you know it, help has been sent.
That's true.
Limiting the conversation to just radio frequencies here, not radio as in media.
Oh no, she's actually saying it's not just about the media, but
No,
then
that's
also
why
the
I understand
frequencies.
perfectly what she's saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying, in this information that you're talking about, we are talking about the use of radio frequencies here, and not radio as a media.
No. As the frequency, but not the media. That's what she's talking about.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
and what is the day about?
The day has to
World
look
Radio
at the
Day.
World Radio Day
Okay,
as a medium, most importantly.
okay.
Yes, as a medium to disseminate, to bring about change and development as well. Okay, so imagine there's something happening at your home and there's a police station. There's a
I
policeman
didn't say
at
anything.
home. No, I'm just trying to because I
Yeah, we
mean
saw the look behind your
that
mask.
is
What did I
it.
do?
We also saw the look behind your mask.
You are really meaning into nothing,
I
really.
know
So,
you.
you know me. Okay. I hope
Well,
that's a good thing.
we'll continue to know her face here, but then thank you guys for joining me.